Yo, check it. 9th and 10th regions, stand up. I say stand up. Stand up. Bright lights shining, about to put on the show. The Stay Hot podcast where the real ones go. High school hoops, future legends on deck. Talking next up, star sport and Nike check. From the hardwood grind to the highlight play. Breaking ankles, dropping dimes, scoring every way. Chasing big moments in every manner. From driveway dreams to championship banners. It's the passion, the culture, the hustle, the grind. Every jumper, every crossover, greatness defined. Shooting the deep three or rocking the rims on a small town stage or in sold out gym. So lace up your kicks, turn the volume up. The season don't end till we get to rough. Future legends in the making, every player grinds. A Stay Hot podcast where the stars align.
Welcome to the Stay Hot podcast. It's that time on Sunday night again. LinkNKY Stay Hot podcast, I should say, along with Evan Dennison. LinkNKY is the largest newspaper in northern Kentucky, covering Boone, Kenton, and Campbell counties. And Evan, rough week to be a sports writer in Kentucky.
Really was. Wasn't much going on the first few days, but up here's a little different than the rest of the state. There's a few teams that if there's snow on the ground, they're still playing basketball.
Well, that is a little bit different than what I'm used to, but I will tell you this. There was one opponent last week that was undefeated, and that was Mother Nature.
Yeah.
She wreaked havoc on the tri-state here, so
she won a state championship in Louisville, that's for sure.
And honestly, it's kind of crazy because I look and we had to reschedule district games, and we got 4 next week. Not 4 district games, but we got 4 games next week. 3 are district games. And I see snow's coming in Tuesday into Wednesday night, and it said multiple inches accumulation. So these temperatures aren't getting any warmer. But as always, it's hot in here. And we'd like to welcome Mark. Is it Wehry?
Wehry.
Wehry, 859 Sports. And Mark probably doesn't know this, but I've tuned in to quite a few of his broadcasts and watch a lot of the games. And congratulations on 500. That's a big accomplishment. And we also want to thank you for spending some time with us this evening.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yep. I always look forward to talking about high school sports. Love basketball. Love 859 Sports Radio. So, yeah.
So do you also cover football, baseball?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, do you also cover football, baseball, softball?
I've done a few baseball games as a couple favors, but football games of the week, all postseason that we can get to. And then a few years ago, we started volleyball we got in when it got hot. We got in at the perfect time because UK had won the national championship. Notre Dame had won a state, and then St. Henry, and then Notre Dame. And so about 3 years ago, I added Becky Tankman-Myrick, who was a Notre Dame Academy state champ in 94. And went to UC and set records, and she just kind of fell in my lap. And we've been doing every region. We've probably done close to 30 volleyball matches in the last 4 years.
And I will say this before I let Evan carry on, but volleyball is one of those sports that I really enjoy watching. I mean, and when you say it got hot quick and picked up steam. And I'm sure a lot of that had to do with, Craig Skinner in Kentucky and, the momentum they had and still going. But volleyball is a great sport to watch. It's just huge momentum sport. I love it. And of course, volleyball in the 10th isn't like volleyball in the 9th, other than the 9th region schools that we have: Scott, Campbell, Brossart, Calvary. Those 4 schools are usually, was what dominates our 10th region volleyball. But I know how good the 9th region volleyball circuit is. So, Evan?
Yeah. Winning will breed a lot of interest.
In any sport.
Yeah, not just volleyball.
Right. That's what I mean. You win, you build it, they will come, and they tune in when a lot's on the line.
Yeah. Mark, again, thanks for joining us. I know anytime I'm not at a game and you're on the air, I'm definitely tuning in, checking out. And, you do a great job of keeping people interested in picking the right games, so that's really neat.
Agree. When I see you, I'm like, okay, I picked the right game. And also when you see the photographers too. Oh, I got Bob Jackson. I'm at the right game.
Yeah. 500. What's that mean to you? I mean, that's years. That's not something that happens overnight, and something that takes a lot of dedication. And we all know that this isn't a job that pays the bills or even pays the light bill for the next month. So
right. Well, I've never made a dime. I was at Covington Catholic for 14 years, and never got paid there, and just not in it for that. I'm in it for the fan who cannot be there, for the parent who is in an airport, for a grandpa that's in Florida, and it just. I got asked by Mike Lister in 2004 to start radio at Covington Catholic. I was there 14 years, 750 broadcasts,
wow.
And quite frankly, didn't end the way I wanted it to end, and ended badly there. And it was a tough year taking that year off. They won state in 18, and I had to sit and wonder who was sitting in my seat, and I was as low as I could be. And Jason Elfers, my partner, my nephew, the J-Man, he calls me up and says, let's do Connor Ryle girls 2019, 1 and 2 in the state, and they're in the district finals. Mm. So let's get the band back together. Let's do that game. And in a day, I came up with the name 859 Sports Radio. I'm like, what encompasses everything? I said, the area code. Northern Kentucky seemed small, I said, well, it's bigger than that. So came up with the colors, came up with a website, came up with a way to do it. And one of the AD at the district tournament said, nah, it's too late. I'm like, just show me where to sit. All you gotta do is show me. I'll get my own electricity. I don't care. So we couldn't do it. And I said, well, let's do region. So I called Stan Steidel. I said, Stan, we got a new broadcast team, 859 Sports Radio. And we'll do every game, boys and girls. Mm. And we did 14 games in 8 days. And we started using Meredix, because I got that from Dave Schabel from District Brossard. Mm-hmm. And that's what they were using. And I said, let's make a big splash. Ryle, they didn't meet in the regional finals. I'm like, they'll do the regional finals. Ryle Connor, they're 1-2 in the state. Dixie spoiled the party and beat Connor. And so Ryle ends up winning region, takes us to Rupp. They win state with Maddie Shearer and Lauren Schwartz and Bree Crittenden and Johnson and Jaden Douthit. And we were on the air for 2 weeks, and we're doing a state championship. So people knew who we were right away, and it just took off from there. So, well, let's do football. So Kevin Connor kept my connection with him. We did Cubcat football together, and he's been with me ever since 2019. And I never dreamt 500 would come. I certainly didn't think it would come this quickly. Our 400th was only a year ago.
Wow.
So yeah, I love it. I don't want to charge people, because as soon as you start charging, people stop watching. I don't want to lose people. I don't do this for money. I got a job. I'm work for Scripps. Been there 35 years, and I don't need the money. I don't need the headaches of charging people, having internet problems, and they say, hey, my connection went down. I want my money back. I don't want advertisers to try to tell me what to do. I learned that working for somebody else in this business does not work out real well for you. So no one's going to tell me what to do except the lady upstairs who's watching probably a cooking show. And,
God bless her, because that's a lot of time.
My wife Terry is the blessing to all this, that she encourages me and fully supports it. The appropriations are there when I need them.
Now,
that's awesome.
I think that's the no charge. I mean, I get how certain streaming companies need to operate. They've got a bottom line. I'm sure. I mean, I'm just thinking the All A this last week. I mean, to watch one game, it was $16.
Are you kidding me?
$16. Now that gave you that could have given you leeway for the rest of the day. So let's say if there was 4 games that day, could have got all 4, but I mean, you're tuning in to watch your team.
Oh yeah.
You're probably not watching a 40-point blowout in an all-A game at 9.
And you're not going to sit there for 4 hours on a day to watch anybody else. If your team just won, you could care less. They lose.
Hey, you got it up on a laptop or something.
Craig Russell would.
But I think that just goes a long ways. You know, it gives people access, like you said, if they can't attend. And we know that happens a lot, especially
my mom lives in Idaho, so she tunes into a lot of the broadcasts, the Pendleton County games. You know, we stream on YouTube, and we're fortunate enough to have people that do it. And one of the reasons why we stream on YouTube is because it's free. You know, and you know, and I agree with what Evan said. You know, and this is no knock towards anybody, but I wish everybody would just go to NFHS. You pay a monthly subscription, and you could get every. You know, I'm not paying $16 for one game. You know, but
yeah. Now it does kind of bite me sometimes when, you know, I think I'm going to be able to do a playoff football game, and all of a sudden that school decides to charge for playoff football, and they say, "I'm sorry, but we can't have you giving away our product for free when we're charging $8 for it." So that got a little frustrating, but you know, money motivates people. That's great. Motivated me with my career. It does not motivate me with this. I've never once thought I need to start charging. So
that's one thing I think that's cool that you do is, you know, like you kind of go out of your way to not step on people's toes. Like if certain teams have dedicated radio crews, you kind of let them do their thing. Like how does that process play out? Like you said, I know the region tournament. That's your thing now. Basically,
right.
You've earned that right. But throughout the season, and maybe even going into the state tournament, how do you kind of?
Well, some of that is a little bit of respect, but some of that is like, you know, if I show up at Holy Cross and Terry Niehaus has a very loyal listenership, I couldn't crack that if I wanted to. They love their guy. He does a great job. He's been doing it 10 years. He's almost to 500.
Yeah. And
it's like, it's almost like I'll pick a game where I'll be able to get more people to watch it because, you know, of the, you know, the loyal listenership with the existing team. But sometimes the game is just too big to pass up. Notre Dame, you know, hosting Cooper. Joe Laurie does a great job with Notre Dame Panda Radio with Jim Edmonds, and they also have a following, and they're starting to add video. But sometimes I can't pass it up. Jacob Myers' 9th Region record-setting night. They, you know, Ann Jillian was gracious enough to let me in, and we weren't going to miss it. So when it's too big, I don't pass it up. But just, you know, just certain regular season games, it just doesn't really make sense when there's a couple teams that don't have video or broadcast where I could go do, you know, Ryle Cooper instead of, you know, Holy Cross Cupcath or whatever. Mm-hmm. They both have their own radio, but there's sometimes where there's 3 of us there. And it's, you know, it works out. Everyone gets to eat, but I'm still going to reach people that would rather listen to a neutral, unbiased broadcast. You know, if you're a Holy Cross fan, you want to listen to Holy Cross Radio. If you're a Notre Dame fan, you want to listen to Notre Dame Radio. If you're a Ryle fan and Notre Dame is playing Cooper, you want to watch 859.
Yeah. And you guys do a great job of that because, I mean, I know you're a Holy Cross grad, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't really have a skin in the game. Just like when people, like, may accuse me of being biased or whatnot, like, I don't care who wins, you know? Mm-hmm. You know, so you don't have, like, that dedicated skin in the game where you're going to have maybe a partial bias towards someone compared to over someone else.
Right. Now, I was on Michael Kennedy's podcast, and he asked that same question about, you know, not rooting for somebody. And I'm like, there's unbiased and there's neutral, but then I'm human and I'm closer to people and I gravitate to people who treat me well. And there are schools that treat us like we are their radio.
Right.
You know, Cooper, Highlands, Ryle. I mean, they are really, really good to us and accommodating to us. And I mean, and you get closer to families and you get closer to players, and there's a little bit of that, but I'm not flat out rooting on the air. But I mean, in my heart, sometimes after a game, I might be a little happy for somebody that won. But I put money on it that you can't tell during the broadcast.
So what do you do at Scripps?
I'm in sort of an IT. I was in IT for a lot of years, and then I moved over my position to an HR department, but still the same IT stuff. I support Workday.
Prior to you starting at CovCaf, were you even involved in any sort of this?
I was the PA announcer at Thomas More.
Okay.
And that kind of exposed me to Mike Listerman doing a blue-white scrimmage for Covington Catholic. When we opened up our new gym at St. Pius, I was doing the PA for the blue-white scrimmage.
Okay.
I did fill in a couple of times at Thomas More for their live cable shows that they used to do for basketball and football.
So you did PA for basketball then? Is that right?
Yeah, mostly the girls, some of the boys' games, but then I did football too when they opened their new stadium. And but I did some play-by-play and color for some basketball and football broadcasts. So I had a little experience in that. Denny Wright, who's a Hall of Famer, he and I went in together at Northern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame, coincidentally. He's kind of showed me the ropes of broadcasting. We got headphones. You got a director in this ear and cameraman in this ear and your partner in this ear, and you're trying not to answer the director when he asks a question. But
I've always wondered how hard that is to listen in one ear while you're still talking and carrying on a conversation about something totally irrelevant to what they're
telling you. At first, it's really good. It's really hard. But then what kind of gets hard is when they crack jokes with each other. And all of a sudden, you don't want to get caught laughing.
And you got to smirk. Yeah.
Out of nowhere, you're cracking up laughing. So that's because a lot of that goes on. They talk to each other.
And then your crew. I mean, you've built up quite a crew now. Like you said, with volleyball, you have Becky. Football, you have Kevin. Basketball, you got a nice variety. How did you kind of shape that crew
basketball? Out? I mean, it's not one game a week. I mean,
right.
Literally last 2 weeks ago, I had 7 games.
Wow.
And then this week, I'm probably going to have 7 or 8 based on snow. Because I'm doing the Camel Classic, which is 4 or 5 games.
That's a long
most
way.
of the Camel Classic. But
right.
I mean,
Go ahead. I was going to ask, do you do all video now?
Yeah, we've been doing that for about 6 years now.
That's awesome.
It was only 1 year, I think, when we were audio only. And thanks to Ken Morgan, who donates our hotspot. He's Cricket Wireless owner. And Ken Morgan's into the youth football and runs the Newport Red Devil organization. He needed us to do a New Calf Beechwood football game. Someone asked, and he provided my hotspot. And when I went to give it back to him, he said, "Keep it. I'll be your sponsor, and you can have free internet all year."
Nice.
So yeah, it's nice. But I mean, there's certain criteria. I mean, I get a lot of cold call. Hey, you need, let me know.
Right.
But
I mean, you tell me all the time.
I can't do that. I've got a checklist.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I've kind of got to know you. I mean, if I don't know you, it's tough.
Right.
And the only person that I've ever had on that stuck that I did not know until Becky, but I asked her, but Dave Hartman. Greg Spencer gave me a tip that Dave Hartman might do it. And we literally introduced ourselves before we went on the air. And that stray dog, I fed him and he has not left. But
Joe Campbell's sharp too.
We grew up in the hood together. We were Covingtonians down in by Holmes. And
who, you and Dave?
Yeah, we didn't know each other. He's younger than me, but we hung out with the same people. And
how did John come in to play?
John had a son, Daniel Campbell.
Daniel played Connor, right?
For Connor.
Yeah.
And I could just tell the way he looked at me that he wanted to help out. Yeah. And he would hint as a parent, hey, if you ever need anything. And so I kind of got to know him a little bit at games. And then one day I didn't have a camera person for a district game and tournament. And I said, would you do camera? And I said, here's what you got to do. Go back and forth. I'll incorporate you into the broadcast. Don't overstep and don't talk over my color guy. And that lasted about 5 minutes. And all of a sudden I had 2 colormen. And so then I needed him for those games at Griffin, those prep games that came in the Griffin. And
Yeah.
he helped me out, did some audio for me, and still had to, mold the clay a little bit. And now you've heard him. I mean, he's just phenomenal. Sometimes I spot talent like Stacy Kissel. I knew Stacy would do well. She coached and we talked a lot from Cooper. With the regime change at Cooper, she left the program after coaching for 10 years. And I knew, we had good chemistry. And she knows the game. She knows Northern Kentucky. She knows the girls. She knows, and she's caught on real well. But then Nell Fuchs, I interviewed Nell on my Legends from the 859. If you go to 859sportsradio.com, you see Legends from the 859. I've got Kenny Shields, Doug Schlomer, John Whimsy, Scott Droud, Nell Fuchs, Dale Mueller, Morgan Hetz, Andy Furman.
Ken Shields coached against my dad when he coached at Fort Thomas.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And Ken, his mind is still so sharp. My dad passed away in 99, but Ken got him inducted into the Northern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And like that day, which is just a few years ago, Ken could still name their starting five. Like his mind is sharp. It's amazing
He is amazing. Yeah.
His book is awesome too.
He's like family to me. So he's done games with me. And and then Jason, my nephew, he's the one that helped me start it and did it with me at Coving Catholic. So yeah, it's a nice core group. And then I try to get students involved. So
that's what I was going to get at. Like, I think that's really neat too. Is either whether they're a student athlete or like, how does that work? Do they reach out to you or is it
sometimes I was at, I think the first one that did was Zoe Collins. She was a senior at Notre Dame Academy. We were at the volleyball game and tournament. She said, "Do you work with students?" I said, "Yeah, I've worked with some students." She said, "I'd like to get involved." And I said, "Well, come back tomorrow for the finals and prepare me I think it's going to be St. Henry, Notre Dame. Prepare me a pregame and we'll put you on the air and you go over your pregame." And she shows up with pregame and an interview with the head coach from Notre Dame on her phone. Oh. So we played that and she did camera for me. She's the one I did a couple baseball games with.
Yeah.
And she's now at Western Kentucky in communications, broadcasting, whatever. She's like their social media person. Brandon Bucher emailed me out of the blue. I'd like to broadcast. So I said, well, let's do the Holmes Highlands game together. I show up and the dork is a freshman. I'm like, really? I thought he was a senior. So we put him on and he did well. He was prepared, didn't act like a freshman. And a couple years later, he wins an Emmy.
Yeah.
And now he's at Arizona State in broadcasting.
Yeah, one of the top broadcasting schools in the country.
Yeah. But I also, not just kids that are interested in broadcasting, but kids that have had their seasons taken away from them. Lucy Trapp last year playing Notre Dame Ryle on our broadcast. She tears her ACL. Her mom messages me out of the blue and says, "Hey, I'm Lucy Trapp's mom, and your broadcast is so graphic of her knee injury. People are sending her pictures of her knee." And she said, "Could you take it down?"
Wow.
Or, could you splice it out? Which I couldn't. So I just took it down. And I said, she's just terrorized by it. So I said, "You think she would want to help us out?" So she did the regional games with Becky and I, and as our co-color analyst. And her mom called me that night and said, "This is the first night she hasn't cried." And she talked about how much fun she had.
That's cool.
And then Marin Orm recently for Highlands tore her ACL in a preseason game. Mm. And just to get these kids back in the gym in their wheelhouse talking about their sport. It's a win-win because, I need someone to go back and forth and talk to us about the team. The final one I want to talk about is Anna Gregory, who I don't like the term special needs. Amazing, needs extra focus. She was at Ryle, and Jason Baker, I said, hey, I need a camera person. He goes, I got somebody for you. And I think Anna was a sophomore. And she was phenomenal and never missed a play. She did it for 2 years.
Wow. She
invited me to her special needs program graduation. And she, we got her gear, got her sweatshirt. And she just, and she was like a team manager. But then when we were at Ryle, she would do camera for us. And I'd always try to trick her. Now, Sarah Baker, you said she was your favorite, right? They all are. They all are. And if anybody messed up, she's like, yeah, but they're out there trying.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I wish I actually taught special education for 15 plus years. And I taught it all from the learning behavior to the emotional behavior, all the way to the moderate and severe. And I just wish every person had their outlook on life itself.
Yeah.
You see very few negative outlooks from those types of students. And, and that just, kudos to you for letting her be involved. And, that's an awesome story.
Some of it is selfish. I need help. And, but yeah, it's, I'm always a little, not hesitant, but I always worry a little bit about a kid that might say something, because you know what social media is like.
Oh.
If you say something that's, can be misconstrued, taken out of context. And now you've got this kid who's, kind of gets raked through the coals on social media. But, that's why I tell them, just, let me incorporate you in, we'll get you learning the ropes. And, and I don't put kids on I don't trust.
Right.
So it's it's certainly a little bit of a vetting process, but, it just, that hasn't happened, and I pray it never happens. But I also hope it doesn't happen to me.
Well, right. We're all capable.
Say something wrong, say something stupid, or, it's
those hot mic moments.
That's thousands of hours on the air of not getting canceled because you made a mistake of saying something that you either came out wrong or someone twisted what you said. Well, it happened to me one time at Coving Catholic. And it's not what I meant, and someone tried to make it into an issue, and it wasn't.
And that's the thing, that there's always somebody out there that's always looking, kind of, not just, in your profession, but like coaches, teachers, anybody now with cell phones is prevalent, and the video, and everybody's always trying to catch you in that gotcha moment to where they can, and don't want to hear the whole side or the whole context. They just want to be able to say they got you.
Right. And if it ever happens, I'll probably just be done and say, I'm not gonna put myself through for this when my intentions are good and someone's trying to do that to me. It's like, it's if depending on the damage, it's like, it's not worth it, but especially since it's just a hobby.
Well, and honestly, I've enjoyed watching it. I've watched a few things on YouTube. I've seen some of the broadcasts come up, and, I've been to your website, and I've just plugged your website on Twitter, and, the
awesome
service you do for the amount of money you're making. It's just a great service. And I hope we get to keep you around a long time, because it does provide an avenue for those who can't watch.
This is certainly one of the benefits, is getting to meet you, Coach, and guys like Evan. Evan and I didn't know each other from Adam, and, we're just covering games together. And now all of a sudden during regional basketball, halftime is the Dennison report. And, it's something we all look forward to. And,
well, we were kind of upset to lose Evan in the 10th, and we've not really had a paper guy or a news. Just I don't know if he goes by a reporter or whatever, Mr. Sports, Mr. Everything. And, I don't know if the 10th had anybody like him since. And
I got one more. I'm an idiot. We're in the state finals in 2021, and Andy Listerman had done the second round with me and the third round with me, and Andy had to be the confirmation sponsor for one of his nephews or nieces or somebody. I didn't have anybody, and it was like, oh, you're not going to be here? He's like, no. And John Muller, who was Luke Muller's dad, said, how about Bert Ritchie? And I'm like, well, I said, I know who he is. I'm I don't know if I'm a big fan. It's like I don't know him well enough, and but I didn't have anybody. So state finals, was that Bowling Green?
Back
2021 Highlands?
no, they beat E-Town, didn't they?
Was it? I
Highlands E-Town.
Yeah.
What
And
year was it?
2021.
They beat E-Town in the final.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at the 500, I get them mixed up. But he and I did that game like we had been doing it. People have said, like, after he'd done a few more, and it's like, how many years you guys been doing this? He said, oh, about 2 weeks, 3, about a month, about a year. Like, Bert he's amazing because he can say more in one sentence than most people can say in a paragraph.
He's never lost for words.
No, but he wraps it up and he says, he's got great wit. Knows the game. He knows the kids. And it's funny, whenever we're at Rupp together and all these dignitaries walking around, and I'm like, oh my God, there's Jason Frakes. Oh, there's Jared Peck. And all these guys are walking up to Bert talking to him, and, oh, she played with Jamie. Oh, he coached Jamie. Oh, it's like, he's like a bird feeder. The birds just come up to the cage, and
that's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, yep, couldn't forget Bert this time.
Well, Mark, we appreciate you being on.
Right.
It's been fun. Where you at this week? Where are you starting?
Well, I've just found out it's going to snow, so we were going to try to do Campbell County girls at Cooper. Figured Campbell County's got a shot to win the 10th. Cooper's got a shot to win the 9th.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Rio and Highlands girls. I think that's going to actually has a chance to be a good game. And then the rescheduled Simon Kenton and Cooper Thursday. And we're going to do the Holmes reunion of the 76, 77, 78 teams. 78 team, the one that got me in love with high school basketball when my Holy Cross Indians were beating them by 14 in the fourth quarter and lost. And went on to lose the state finals to Shelby County on the cheated by the non-goaltending and Charles Hurt and the first Leitner shot before Leitner. And then Saturday's the Camel Classic, and there's like 8 or 9 games, and I can't.
I'm going to talk about that a little bit later too, because I'm going to post a schedule because I think
it's changed
basketball. Yeah, I think Donald Scheid has sent it to me. So
yeah, but probably the noon through. Now I kind of feel bad because the Campbell County host got moved to like 7:30, and they were going to be earlier, and I hate to do that to Donald and leave, but we'll have to see how well my new seat cushion that my wife got me for Christmas works after 4 or 5. But that should be a nice day where you get to see teams you normally don't see.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're not big watching games because there's not big rivalries.
Right.
But
some top tier talent though.
Yeah. Coach, when you see Sam Ellsburn this week, pass on our best. Let him know that we're going to talk about him here in a little bit and his victory over Scott. But once again, thanks for joining us.
Are you related to Anna? Are you related to Anna?
Anna no, she spells it differently. No.
Okay. Okay, I should know that.
But we'd love to have you on again. I love listening to you talk. Love to tell your stories. But once again, thank you for your time, and hope to see you around soon.
All righty. Thanks. Really love it. Love to be back. We can talk about some games.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Bye.
Appreciate you.
I didn't mean to cut him off there. I didn't really know that he was on there, but I noticed we have Coach Martin. He's been backstage for a while now. He got on a little early, so I wanted to get him on and, respect his time. But Coach Alan Martin of the Bourbon County Colonels, and Coach, you've won 5 in a row and 7 of your last 8. Colonels are off to a great start. You've had a great season.
Yeah, we finally gotten everybody back in together. We had a couple of kids who were waiting on eligibility. We had a couple of kids who were either hurt or wasn't around at the beginning of the season. So a lot of those big matchups that we had early, we were at, 75%, which was kind of frustrating. But I'd like to have those return games with Campbell and Nicholas, a few of those early ones. We get Montgomery and Paris and GRC both in the next week or so. So we'll get another shot at most of those teams.
The only positive I can see about the GRC Paris Montgomery stretch is that they're all at home at least.
Yeah,
that's a district, 3 straight district games, and I know Mother Nature hadn't done you any favors there, but
right.
we
were very backloaded with home games.
And
the ones left, I think we got 2 road games and roughly 7 home games, so that'll be nice.
And I will say this before I let Evan see if he's got a few questions. He's a little bit better at interviewing than I am, but I will say, and I do want to kind of pat myself on the back here, because out of all of the preseason player rankings that I saw, I was the only one that had Noah Earlywine ranked in the top 10, because I truly believe he's a top 10 player in this region, and I think he's done everything this year to prove that.
Yeah, he's been wonderful for us. He's taken on a different role this year. In the past, he's always been kind of the second man, so he could play off from somebody else. This year, we've asked him to take on the role of being the guy. Early on, he kind of struggled a little bit with that, as he had to play with the ball in his hands a lot. Our point guard hadn't really gotten eligible yet, and the other guys was trying to fill that role, so we had him with the ball in his hands a lot. He was trying to learn how to score in those ways, which wasn't what he had been used to his whole life. There's a little bit of some growing pains getting him to that point. And then the last week that we played, when we played Paris, we had our big guy break his elbow, so he's going to be out for the rest of the year. It's been a little frustrating. We never can get everybody together where we got a full squad and kind of play to our full potential. But we adjust, play a little bit smaller ball now. We've obviously won a lot of those games. We haven't played the upper echelon of our region without Nash yet, so we're going to be curious to see how we look with those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. What's life like in the 40th district? I mean, I feel like for you and for you guys, it's such an uphill battle, because obviously you've got GRC and MoCo, but I mean, Paris isn't an easy out either, because that's a rivalry game and something that's going to usually come down to the wire. So how do you kind of approach that?
We're always gearing everything we do throughout the season towards district, because that's what is going to gauge your entire season. Most of the time, we're either going to get MoCo or GRC. So everything we're doing is trying to be a build-up to preparing for those teams. Obviously, in the last few years, both of those teams have gotten really good really quick with some additions that they had. So, this is our reality. We could be 4 or 5 in the RPI or in the region and not make the regional tournament. So we got to kind of adjust to that and play for that. It puts a lot more emphasis on those early games in the tournaments. We can't come out and be flat early. Some people might have a slow start and they can live with that because they're playing a lesser team in the first round of the district, but that's not our reality. So we got to be ready to play.
What's your background? Where are you from?
I'm from Powell County, Stanton, Kentucky. I grew up right in the middle of the Red River Gorge. I graduated from there in 2007, played basketball there, come back to teaching around 2015, started as an assistant coach for Dave Fraley. I went with him for about 2 years. I went down and coached the middle school for a couple of years. Then I came back up to the high school as an assistant, was assistant for 2 years, and then became the head coach there for 3.
I had some good friends at Morehead State from Powell County. Mark Crow.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's his name, Mark, wasn't it? Mark? No, was it Mark Crow?
Well, there's 2. There's a Mark Crow and there was a Mike Crow who just passed away, who was his brother.
Yeah, it was Mark.
Yeah. Mark's son is the actual coach now at Powell.
Oh, okay. And also, I used to go to Transylvania every summer, and me and Mr. Ken Jones, the girls' coach at Powell County, used to always.
Yeah.
He passed away, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
I hated to hear that. He was a good man. Good man.
I always joke that he lived like 4 different lives. He worked in the public sector for 20 years. He had a private sector job. I think he was drawing Social Security on top of everything. So he lived so many different lives, and he always had so many stories for everything.
And then a high school basketball coach on that.
Right.
Every time I saw him, he was always outside of the gym smoking. So I figured his girls probably forced him to head outside.
What's funny about that is whenever he finally did retire, and we were moving some of his stuff out of his office, the walls in there, you can see every picture frame, every plaque, everything he had on the walls, because he smoked in there so much. But he always had them Cools menthols, always. Yeah. Right there in that front pocket.
All right, I got to know something about Noah. Have you challenged him yet in tennis?
No, I've never played tennis a day in my life, so that's not me. My assistant coach, Coach Rankin, is the tennis coach, and I don't know if they played each other or not. I think the biggest rivalry for Noah is his brother, who's playing
Yeah.
at Transy right now.
Right,
So
right.
they always say that Noah's more of a power type player, Luke's more of a chess match type guy. So it's two different styles when they play.
I coached tennis when they were doubles partners at one time, and
Yeah.
I think they were like 7th grade then. And
Yeah. I mean, they made the region final, I think, as 8th graders or something like that.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Noah made the final 8 last year.
yeah.
I think 4 or 5 of those guys have graduated, so he's
Right.
got a pretty good shot at it this year. When we've been looking at colleges and things, he's kind of wanting to double dip. He don't really know which sport he wants to do, so he's looking at maybe potentially doing both at least the first year to fill him out. So when we'll be looking for colleges for him, that's kind of one of his factors he's looking.
That's a unique mix, though, too. You don't normally run into that kind of sport duo, like a dual sport athlete.
Right. Just like a football, a basketball, or a football, baseball, or a track or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Powell County never had tennis, so we didn't do that. We're from the mountains. We don't do tennis.
Yeah, it's a little different over there, I bet.
Yeah.
What have you really noticed about your team here these past few weeks? Like Coach said, you've won 5 in a row and 7 of 8. Was it just a matter of really just kind of getting healthy, or what have you really noticed that's been kind of different?
Yeah, getting Zarion and Dalen eligible has been huge. They kind of brought a couple of things that we'd been missing. Day-Day's really a true point guard. He helps other guys find them, takes some of the pressure off them. That's really helped Noah to be a better scorer because he don't have to exhaust himself at the point all the time where he's getting pressured and getting trapped, and he's trying to fight through that and then still be a big scorer for us. So it's took some pressure off him. Zarion's a big physical body. He's not real tall, but he's 6'2", but he plays very physical, very fast. So that's one of the things that we lacked a little bit toughness-wise. So those two getting eligible has really helped. I think just having the whole season to get used to the roles that we've defined for some of these guys, I think they're finally starting to buy into those roles.
Absolutely.
And of course, we had to switch up everything we were doing once Nash went down. Was trying to play a little bit through the post. Opened up a lot of our guys on the outside, so we switched to a little smaller lineup, more pressing, more running, up and down type style, as opposed to some ball control.
Yeah, because with Nash, he looks like he was bringing in about 12 and 7 for you nightly, and you don't just simply replace that, No,
and the big thing for him was he drew so much attention as a 6'7", 300-pound guy in the paint.
Oh wow!
Whether he's scoring or not, he's getting attention that's opening some other guys up. So, but on the flip side of that, not having his presence in the paint has kind of opened it up a lot more off the bounce. So it's given us a little bit different style.
How many of these guys played football?
Let's see. A lot of them. I think at the beginning of the season, they played up until right around Thanksgiving. So roughly 80% of our team we didn't have at the beginning of the year. So we was trying to get those kids acclimated. And a lot of those kids, it's not where they play football or they play basketball, but they also play football. These are football players who play basketball also. So, getting them to transition into our roles that we want, getting them to be more basketball oriented, it takes some time, it takes some effort. Again, they're all great athletes, but they don't necessarily think basketball 24/7. So it's a little harder transition for them as opposed to somebody who does basketball all the time.
It's funny how that correlates, though, because there's a lot of times if you have a successful football season at your high school, it's going to translate over into basketball. Like you said, 80% of your team played football, saw that success, and now you're starting to see that now that these guys are now in kind of some basketball shape.
Yeah, and a lot of our competition, probably not so much Paris, but over at Montgomery County and GRC, those kids are just basketball. They don't play any other sports. So they got 2 or 3 months head start in practice on us. Also, they're playing AAU year-round. Our guys aren't doing that during the summer. So, again, it's a big uphill battle. We got 2 or 3 guys who are pretty committed to basketball, and they work on it. But the rest of the guys, that's their second sport.
What's it been like dealing with Ivan Rice? Come on, give us the dirt.
I've had all good experiences with Ivan so far. Nothing.
I don't like him.
I'll be sure to let him know.
I go to Aaron Speaks' Super Bowl party every year, and I'll tell him to his face. I don't need you to tell him. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna stand on my business when I walk in there.
Yeah.
No, he's a great guy. I love him.
What's
He's
Bourbon
been real
County,
supportive of us.
what's Bourbon County been like for you? I know you're in your second season with these guys, and it seems like you've got to kind of turn the corner here and getting things kind of going with some positive momentum.
Right. When I came over here, it was a little bit different kind of kids coming from the 14th region. The competition level obviously went up a little bit. Just trying to figure out teams. Most of the time if I was in the 14th, I knew players, I knew the teams, I knew their styles, I knew their tendencies, all that kind of stuff. So coming in year one, just trying to watch a lot of film, get a feel for who people are, other coaches, their tendencies, how they want to play. I thought we led a few last year. It's probably 4 or 5 games I felt like we probably should have won that we didn't. A lot of that came down on me because I didn't do a good job of scouting some of those teams and being prepared for them. So I feel like this year those games went our way because I've had more familiarity with those teams, those coaches. But so again, I just feel like I'm getting my footing over here right now. Year one, it's a lot of, and it was kind of a late addition in year one where I just got hired at the beginning of July. So our off-season program was a little limited. We had a lot of kids that transferred out on year one. I think we lost 7 kids to the transfer portal, quote unquote. They went all over the place, and like 3 or 4 of them probably would have been starters for us. So just trying to settle us in, figure out who we're going to be. And I feel like we kind of fell into our identity this year, more of who I want our team to be, and trying to implement that.
Now, Tanner Hall, that's on your staff, did he play at LCA? Am I right there?
No, he was at Model in high school.
Model, okay. I knew that name sounded familiar, but I just wasn't sure how that worked. Yeah. And then, just what else about this team, that you think that, is really, I mean, you guys are putting up 32 rebounds a game. I think that's any number when you're getting over 30 on that. It shows me that's a strength of your team.
Yeah, I mean, Noah's leading us in rebounds at like 9.5, as a lot of the season was our point guard. So
and he's
he helped us in that regard.
6'1", 6'2"?
I'd give him about 6'3", 6'4",
okay.
Maybe with some good shoes on, but he's about 6'3". But he's very bouncy. He dunks it easily, 2 hands. He can get up there. But I think he realized for us to be successful, he has to do those things. We got Nash in there and stuff, but rebounding from the guard spot kind of takes you to another level where you get guys in there, coming from the perimeter, things like that. But I feel like as our team as a whole, we're really starting to find our identity. And again, we had to change after Nash went down, but I felt like my style and a lot of the kids' style maybe are more conducive to pressing and running and getting out in the open court as opposed to running half court sets every possession, things like that. So I do think that, while we loved having Nash, those kids have kind of changed to where we're doing things more that they're comfortable with. Maybe, just being athletes and football players are better at running up and down the court as opposed to running a half court set every time. So I think some of them may be getting a little bit more comfortable in that role. But again, it sucks not having a 6'7" kid in the middle, especially matching up with the bigs at Montgomery and GRC. That's really, really going to be a struggle. We'll see where we're at with that in the next week or so.
Yeah.
You mentioned something earlier that I've tried to explain to people as a coach. And, you talked about last year, having Noah may have not have been the guy, people don't understand how hard it is. It's a lot easier to be the number 4 guy of your starting lineup than it is to be the number 1 guy. 4 guy, you're being guarded by probably the 3rd, 4th, 5th best defender. The number 1 guy, you're getting the best defender every night. And I don't think people understand how hard it is to be able to switch those roles and still produce at 21 points a game and 9.5 rebounds.
Oh, yeah, especially if you've been playing off the ball as a catch and shoot kind of guy. Now you've got to put it on the floor, try to find your shot as well as trying to find other guys their shots. It's just a completely different role. And a lot of those nights, it's not just the other team's best defender. It's the other team's best defender plus 1 or plus 1.5 that's running at him. So, that was where the other guys kind of stepped up a little bit, their scoring. But it's been a huge role, and he's kind of accepted that. We struggled a little bit early on against the better teams just because he didn't really have that role yet. He didn't know how to score in those positions. So we struggled a little bit as a team. But he's finally coming on. He's learning that. Having Day at the point now where he can be a little more comfortable has helped us a lot. We just need to have him have his best games on the big games. I think the last game we played GRC, he had only 2 points. So we're not going to win those games if he only gets us 2 points. Mally Ashford is one of his best friends that's over at GRC, originally from Paris. And we're trying to get Noah into he's a really, really nice kid, and get him to dissociate his friendship with Mally to where he's a killer on the court. We'll talk to Mally after the game, but I need you to be a killer on the court. I think in that last game, Mally was kind of that way, and he dissociated it, and Mally was up in him, getting after him, all that stuff, and I think Noah was being a little bit too nice with it. So Mally did a good job of dissociating that. I need to get Noah to do the same thing.
And it's hard. It's hard to do when you got a kid who's got that personality of just a nice kid,
Just a nice kid. He's not out there Mamba mentality trying to kill people. He's just a nice kid, and that's fine. That's great, but we need him to be a killer at times.
If I'm looking at things right, if the district ended today or the season ended today, you'd have Montgomery County in the 2-3 matchup?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Unless we lose to Paris, I think that'll be the matchup. So, if Paris beat us, we might drop to the 4 seed. But
I mean, either way, your first round game.
Right.
I'm not so sure it gets any easier after watching the Montgomery Clark game from other night, and that was kind of like an instant high school classic to me. And
adding a new kid again.
Yeah, well, and not just you didn't just add any kid,
right? You
added a kid that could. Sears was impressive, but that's the first time I've really seen Ryder Akins play. My kids are from Corbin, Kentucky, so I knew of him just by name. I never really got a chance to watch him play, and then I took a little bit of heat early on because I didn't put him in the top 10 players, but I'd never seen him play. I didn't feel it was my fair to rank him if I hadn't seen him play, but those two guys just, put on a show, and I'm glad that has to prepare for that matchup and not me, because I'd be losing a lot of sleep.
Yeah, both those teams are just so physical, and I think that's been the biggest difference in the 2 games when we played with them. We're trying to make a cut, and they're knocking us off our lines, and on the other side, we're not doing that to them. They're getting to their spots where they want to go. And, that just kind of shows to the off season that we don't necessarily get to have all the time with, only 2 or 3 guys that's basketball year round to work on our bodies, get ourselves physical enough to win those games. Because, the talent is there, obviously, but if you're not physical in those games, you're not going to win them.
And I could record what you just said and put that on repeat in my locker room. When we're 11-5 this year, I think, and all 5 losses have come at the hands of 9th region teams, or like Brossert's the only 10th region team, but they play like 9th region. They're basically a 9th region team in my eyes, but you can't cut against them. They were literally
right,
and we're just letting them have their way cutting through the lane. And our idea of being physical is a 2-hand shove in the back. They don't understand that that's not physical play. Setting a screen, contact on a screen, using the screen, blocking out, getting a big rebound. But, some teams, like you said, the teams that do that really, really well are the teams that generally have postseason success. And
right. It's very frustrating as a coach because it doesn't matter what the X's and O's you put out there. If you can't physically match up, you're not going to win. So, you have to be tougher. If you're smaller than them physically, you got to scrap a little harder. You got to, do some cheap shots, something to get even that up a little bit. But you can't be the lesser talented team and be the softer team. It's just not going to work.
And I was just talking to Evan about that before we went on the air. We played Connor yesterday, and we lost 64-61, but we just got out toughed, and every big rebound they seemed to grab. Our guard, like you talked about with guards rebounding, we had some posts that just got beat to the ball and wasn't blocking out, just tried to use their height to out jump them. And tough teams just don't allow that to happen. And like you said, talented teams, and I always say, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And part of that hard work to me is that tough physical play, and very few teams. And we even tried, and I guess my question would be for somebody that could answer it is, can you improve a player's physicality or a player's toughness? Is that a personality trait? We've tried lifting weights, and I know strength isn't necessarily toughness.
Right.
But we've tried everything we could to make a kid stronger, to whereas some of those tough plays didn't hurt as bad, or, like taking a charge, or sometimes I'm afraid they're going to get hurt if they do that, so they don't do it. So we've tried to practice them in practice. And
I remember my first year I got over there, probably day 2 or 3, we started taking some charge drills, and they're like, what in the world is this? Like, and a few of the guys that went first, the offensive player who was going to run them over kind of put the ball out in front of him and tapped them on the chest with it. I was like, what in the hell is that? It's like,
We're not
hit
doing-
them. Like, what do you mean? You got to run through them. It's like, I don't even care if you dribble, pick the ball up and run through them. It's like, we're not going to take a charge in a game if we don't feel how that feels to take the charge. You got to do it for real. And I hopped in the drill and I told Nash, I think it was the biggest guy, I said, hit me hard as you can hit me to show him how to take the charge. And, that kind of toughness, if you don't have it and you're the less talented team, it's you're uphill battle. I think the bigger thing is the mental toughness. And I don't know if it's the psychology of, we're already the smaller school when we're talking about Montgomery and GRC, plus our players in the county are split between Paris and Bourbon County. So it's already an uphill battle. And some of it is the psychological effect of that. Montgomery and GRC have dominated our district for as long as most of these kids remember. And when they go into those games and a few negative plays or Montgomery or GRC makes a run, we mentally fold. And that's so frustrating to me. Like, you gotta be able to buck up and take that on the chin and just keep playing. And I feel like in the first 2 matchups, especially the Montgomery County game, we just wilted in the second quarter and we got beat 53 points. And that was one of the worst experiences for me as a head coach, because I felt like my team quit because they weren't mentally tough, and that was so frustrating for me. And I just kind of question yourself as a coach when those moments happen. Like, we have to be tougher mentally where we don't fold every time something goes negative for us, and that's just frustrating. I remember back to the Rick Pitino halftime speech, and that's kind of where I was at mentally. Like, where is our toughness? So if we don't have that, then we're not going to the regional tournament, and that's kind of what I preach to them.
And you talked about doing the charge drill. I just visualized, what's that? Shaka Smart, when VCU, I think, went to the Final Four that year, and they showed him doing that charge drill and diving on the floor after loose balls. That's the drill we kind of, we started doing, and we'll do it in practice. But it seems like in games, we've got 1 or 2 that'll stand in there. Then everybody else kind of makes their business decision and gets out of the way.
A lot of our guys want to be shot blockers because they're not willing charge takers. It's like, I looked at our statistics. I'm like, outside of Mark Perut, nobody on this team averages over a block a game. It's like, you are not shot blockers. I don't care how athletic you think you are and that stuff. Most of the time, you're fouling them when you're trying to block the shots. So if you just stay in there and take it on the chest and take a charge, you're doing a lot more favors to our team than going up and trying to contest shots at the rim every time. Especially against bigger, longer kids. Like, you can jump up there if you want, but you might get put on a poster. If you just take the charge, you get the foul. Like, there's no chance to be put on a poster. And
girls basketball, I mean, the more you try to block shots, the more fouls you're picking up and the more minutes you're sitting on the bench. So, but
believe it or not, Nash was the only one who likes to take charges, being the biggest guy on the floor.
6'7" guy not wanting to block shots.
Right. But everybody else wants to be shot blockers. I guess it looks better in the highlights.
I was going to say, they'll hear the crowd go, ooh,
Hey, there's nothing better than when somebody's coming flying in there and you take the charge and it just shifts the entire momentum. I don't know how to get them to believe that.
I said it on Saturday. It's the biggest momentum shifting play in basketball.
Other team thinks they got an and one, and then all of a sudden it's the other way. It's just so
it's automatically like a 5-point swing at the minimum.
Right.
Right. Well, Coach, thank you for your time. I wish you the best of luck. It is an uphill battle for you. We can sympathize. We know how strong the 40th district is, but it seems like to me that you got your team playing really well, and it seems like to me that you've done a great job the 2 years you've been there. So kudos to you, kudos to your staff and your program. But thanks again for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.
Maybe in the future we might have a super regional one day.
Oh, well,
I'd be an advocate for it.
I'd say you're not the only school that would advocate for that. I'd say there's a 37th district down the road too that would probably advocate. So
is that the Douglas Scott?
No, 37th is Campbell Brossart Scott.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
I'm open to that. I love it.
I know. For me, I feel like it even gives, the 9, the 10, 11, 12 seed, you get to host a regional tournament game against the 13. It brings in more revenue for everybody. Everybody gets that tournament atmosphere. Whereas, the way it is, it's the top heavy teams are going to get it. So I think it would be great for the smaller schools.
Well,
I think we probably.
Well, since you brought that up, I don't know if you're aware, but we're in the 38th, and the 38th girls turn to host. If you win your district in our region, girls, you get a host the first round of the region. And I guess Harrison County was supposed to host the region. That's something they brought forth to the athletic directors, and I guess it passed. So I guess, you're looking at, I guess if I were to win my district, I'd get a chance to host a regional tournament, which, I think there's positives and negatives. The positive to me is you got some people out there in Falmouth that probably wouldn't make it to, Cynthiana, Mason County, Montgomery, GRC, wherever, to watch a game that could show up at home. But also, I don't know if it would actually feel like a regional tournament atmosphere, if you know what I mean.
Right. I feel like they would give more of the Cinderella feel every now and then, because you might have a 8 or a 9 or maybe a 10 who goes on a run and makes a Final Four based on the matchups that you get. I think back to a couple of years ago, I think it was Lawrence County. 3 of the Final Four teams was from their district, and Lawrence actually got beat out first round of district, then came back and won the regional tournament.
Yeah, they went to Rupp, right?
Yep. I think it gives more of a NCAA tournament feel. You get Cinderellas, you get people who just have good matchups against certain people and make a Final Four, and then obviously you still get the revenue from the main venue because the Final 8 go there anyway. Right, it allows other people to be part of it.
I think that'd be great. Now, honestly, I know that the 15th does it, and I know that I wouldn't be shocked if more regions start doing it. Could you imagine 11th region, super regional?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, the district I was talking about earlier with Frederick Douglass, Scott, Bryan Station, Sayre, all of them. Was like, why would they not want that? Because most of the time you got 3 or at least 3, sometimes 4 of the top 6 teams in the 11th region on that district.
On that district, who one of them's not going to get a chance to go. So. Right.
Yep. It's crazy to me that more people haven't done it, just from a revenue standpoint. For more teams are getting to host, more revenue for the smaller schools who don't get that regional tournament revenue.
Yep.
Well, appreciate it, Coach. Best of luck this week and in the future, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Coach.
And that was Coach Alan Martin of Bourbon County. 2 good interviews today. I really enjoyed listening to both those guys. But before we go on, let's give a shout out to KDA, a leader in the K-12 furniture market from the 1st to the 16th region. They've helped countless districts across the state redesign existing rooms as well as create visions for brand new buildings. Please reach out to Jackson Strong via email at jackson@kdaspaces.com or call 859-910-6750. Shout out to KDA and Jackson Strong. But Evan, I was going to ask you, and I didn't get a chance to ask you, but Newport NCC last week, was that an upset?
Yeah.
I didn't know how NCC was this year as far as how I know they've been good at times and wasn't real familiar with. Seems like, and Newport lost one to Lyon. Did they lose to Lyon County?
Yeah, they went overtime.
Lyon County ended up winning it all. They just beat Caverna.
They beat Caverna. So
that's a good showing for Coach Snap in Newport.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Perry and the Lyon County Lions and Newport. I mean, they were right there. The game, it went to overtime. That was a wild tournament for Newport. They won at the buzzer in the first round, beat Harlan in overtime in the second round, and then lost to Lyon County in overtime. So 3 grinding games, but
also want to shout out, just the 3 Northern Kentucky schools, on girls and boys side. Holy Cross girls ended up winning the All-A State for the 4th time, which is the most of any team. Yep. And I think it's their 3rd time in a row.
3rd in the last 4 years.
3rd in the last 4 years. They've won 4 overall. Okay. Then also Brossard girls made the Final Four, and they lost a close one today to Owensboro Catholic. And then Walton Verona's boys and Coach Mike Hester had a good showing making the Final Four. So a lot of
solid
Northern Kentucky schools and, making runs at the All-A State. So shout out to those guys.
Solid tournament for those teams for sure. A lot of driving for them, having to go back from the week before, and you just wonder what kind of effect that could have, that could linger over. I
feel like that probably helped Owensboro Catholic, right there in the backyard. And, I felt bad when Coach Sam told me they had to come back last week, then go back again this Sunday. That's a 4 or 5 hour trip.
And they played a district game on Friday night and beat Scott.
Against Scott, yeah.
That's a lot to ask of. I don't care if they're 14 or if they're 32. That's a lot to ask of anybody to have to do that. So.
Yeah, riding on a bus that long's no fun, no matter how old you are. But and I also saw today at Northern Kentucky where Highlands and Campbell had I think 84-79 Highlands victory over the Camels.
Yeah, I went overtime.
Did you go? Did you cover the game?
No, we had a photographer there, and he said the game went to overtime. And then I just saw the final score pop in my feed.
And I saw that Austin Davies scored his 1,000th point today. So
I think that was that last. I thought he did against Covcast.
Oh, was it last week?
Yeah,
I just saw it pop up on Facebook, so I thought it was today. It could have been last week.
I think he did it at the Covcast game. But only as a sophomore, he's coming for you, Aiden Hamilton.
Yeah. How many did Aiden score?
He had over 2,000. I don't know the exact amount, but I think Davey, if he's there the next 2 years.
I'd say a lot of people don't realize that Aiden was probably better at baseball than he was basketball, and he was a darn good basketball player.
He went to UK to play baseball.
Right? Did he play 4 years?
No, I think he after his first year he decided not to continue playing. But yeah, I mean it still just shows the caliber of player.
I'll get to see Campbell County in action on Tuesday. They come to Pendleton County. Our girls, it's our senior night, boys and girls. Our girls play Grant County at 6, and our boys playing Campbell at 7:30. So I'll get to see the fighting Brent Souders in action. So
Mason Monroe, what are you doing scheduling Campbell County on senior night?
We don't want to talk about it because that wasn't the original plan.
That's
We've had our senior night canceled multiple times, and
yeah.
What stinks about it is though, you get to this point in the year that you can't make it your last home game.
Yeah, because you never know with snow,
and you don't want any senior to have to experience that at the district tournament. That's just not it's just not a good situation. But
yeah, well, then you say more snow's coming. So I mean,
that's what all the news. They say Tuesday into Wednesday, and so hopefully we get the Tuesday night game in to where, because I don't know where we're going to put senior night if we have to reschedule it again. Yeah. And trying to order a cake and food and balloons and flowers and
it's a lot.
It's a tough way to go, but I want to bring this up here. The Campbell County Classic, I think this is their most update. Schedule. They've got there's some girls and boys games, I believe. At this, it'll be at Campbell County on Saturday, February 2nd, starting at 10:30 a.m., going all the way up till 7:30 p.m. that night. And I was reading, I think the Campbell is it the Campbell Pride Facebook page, maybe? The Camel Pride Facebook page, it's stated that how many opportunities you get to see the number one player in the country play. So you'll get a chance to see that if you show up for the Dudes Electric Camel Classic on February 7th. And shout out to Donald Scheid for his organization of this and promoting this to me so we could share it here on the podcast. So it looks to me like a pretty good schedule. And I know Assumption girls at 4:30. I'm assuming that's a girls game. I'm assuming Assumption. I know they got a Miss Basketball candidate, was number one in the state for a while. I think they recently got beat, but
yeah, Sacred Heart beat them.
Yeah, Sacred Heart. But yeah, it looked to me like we've got a pretty good slate of games there. Might actually try to attend a few games. You gonna be able to make it out on February 7th, Saturday to?
Questionable. It depends. We've got a makeup game with Malachi's third grade team that might happen that day. But I'd like to get out there. I mean, it just really depends because it's a tough day for us because it's a lot of the Northern Kentucky teams are playing, but they're playing teams from all over the place. States. So it makes it a little tougher. So I don't know yet.
Well, and also, too, that with all the snow that's happened and all the games being made up and, there's probably a lot of games going on that day. I'm fortunate enough that we were supposed to be in the 9th, 10th Hardwood Challenge at Augusta, but we're playing on the 4th, 5th, and 6th because of makeup dates that we're not going to be able to play there. So I might actually get a chance to go watch some of those games play.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a great day of hoops. So I mean, this should be a big week with everything that got pushed back or postponed from last week. So looking forward to that.
You got anything else going on this week that?
There's some big games. I mean, on the boys' side, let's see here. Campbell County Holy Cross on Wednesday. That'll be a good one. Friday we got Holmes and their 50-year reunion that they're doing for their 76 through 78 region championship teams.
Oh, Dickie Bill may be in the house.
Yeah, I think he will be.
Doug Schlomer.
Yeah, so they'll have all the Hall of Famers in there, and that'll be a good one. Highlands at Newport Friday night will be a good one. That's a big.
I just know game. In the 10th, a lot of the games going on next week are with district implications because a lot of the district games are the ones that got snowed out with winter storm Fern or whatever that was that came through here that dropped buckets of snow on us. But I know we have we play and we do boy-girl doubleheaders. I don't know if every district does that, but we got Robertson on Monday, then we got Nicholas on Thursday, and then on Friday we have alumni night, as well as we got Harrison County coming over. All three are at home, by the way.
Oh, nice.
At Pendleton County. But we also have Dante Allen's jersey retirement ceremony on February 6th. So
nice.
Anybody listening wants to come out, Dante's jersey will be retired February 6th at Pendleton County. So, but a lot of the games in the 10th for the next week or so are going to be, I know,
district games.
Coach Allen just talked about how he's got 3 games coming up with Paris, Montgomery, and GRC, all 3 of those games at Bourbon County, if that's something you're interested in. I'm looking here at Scott next week. They've got 3 games next week. They got Holy Cross coming to Scott, and then they got St. Henry and Grant County. So doesn't look like any district matchups. It looks like they've already got their district, but they only play once, don't they? In the 37th.
Yeah,
looks like they've already got their district matchups in.
Yep.
And then let me look at the Bracken. I know Augusta, Bracken, St. Pat district. They've next week. St. Pat's got Augusta and Mason on Monday and Thursday. So looks like they got a couple district matchups. But I did tune in on Friday of last week. I did watch Bracken and St. Pat boys game at Bracken County. It was Bracken County senior night, and that was a 70-65 Bracken County win. And that district right there, I think whoever's playing well at that time can win that district. Yeah. I mean, it seems to be a pretty competitive district this year. So the 39th is going to be really competitive, and it might be a fun one to tune into.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I don't think so.
Hey, before we go on, I want to give a shout out here to Sam Ellsburn, longtime co-worker and friend. Covington Holmes last night. I'm assuming it was last night, Saturday night.
Yeah, it was.
10th region foe Scott came to town. So this is Marshawn Rhodes hits him a corner 3 at the buzzer here. But just watch this perfect play execution here. Good screen on the bottom. But watch the reaction of the coaching staff here. You got Sam down here. Watch his chest butt. That guy probably had to go to the doctor that night. Sam gave him a full chest butt there. But just, I love to see the exhilaration and just the overall excitement of student athletes. They say a lot of times the agony of, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. You see one team excited, then you see another team just putting their head down. And it's just, shout out to Marshawn Rhodes with a big corner 3 there.
Good win for Holmes.
It is a good win for Holmes, and
they're in a brutal district, so they got to have some positive moments.
What district is Holmes in? Just tell me real quick.
Cass, Holy Cross, Beechwood.
Oh, okay.
So it's uphill from in that district, but for them to get a win like that, build some positive momentum for them, and with just 3 weeks left in the regular season, you want to get all the positive momentum you can going into postseason.
And they've actually won, 3 out of 4, and they look like they got some winnable games coming up. They've got Calvary Christian, Ludlow, Augusta, got Cooper, which Cooper's not having the best season. So, that might be a chance. Their RPIs are very similar. And then end up with Harrison County at home, who another winnable game. So Holmes has a chance to win with some momentum or end the season with some momentum, but that district may be tougher in the 40th this year, at least.
Top to bottom, yeah. I mean, those top two. I mean, GRC Moco, Covcast, GRC. You know, those are two top 5, top 7 teams in the state. Moco, Holy Cross. I'd probably give a slight edge to Moco, although Holy Cross beat them earlier in the year, but that was without Sears. And then, Beechwood, I'd probably take over Bourbon County, and then Paris and Holmes. So, yeah, I mean, that'd be an interesting cross district challenge.
Well, it would be. You're right, it would be, and you know, just best luck to Coach Ellsburn, and you know, hats off to him on a big win. But Evan, another great show. I can't get over. I really enjoyed listening to Mark and Coach Martin tonight, and you know, I'd love to get. You know, of course, I know we'll have a chance to get Coach Martin on again sometime being a coach, but I could probably have just an extra show with just Mark and just listen to some of his stories or some of the games he's called. And, but you know, if you looking for somebody to stream a game or something, check out 859sportsradio.com. Yeah. You know, if you didn't get to hear early on, Mark gave his reasoning for why he doesn't charge. And I think it's just a honorable reason to why he doesn't charge money for his broadcast, and gives everybody a chance to, you know, watch it for free. And I think that says an awful lot about Mark and his character. And it was great to have him on the show tonight.
For sure. Yep.
All right. While the temperatures are still down, you know what time it is. Stay hot.
Yo, check it. 9th and 10th regions, stand up. I say stand up. Stand up. Bright lights shining, about to put on the show. The Stay Hot podcast where the real ones go. High school hoops, future legends on deck. Talking next up, star sport and Nike check. From the hardwood grind to the highlight play. Breaking ankles, dropping dimes, scoring every way. Chasing big moments in every manner. From driveway dreams to championship banners. It's the passion, the culture, the hustle, the grind. Every jumper, every crossover, greatness defined. Shooting the deep three or rocking the rims on a small town stage or in sold out gyms. So lace up your kicks, turn the volume up. The season don't end till we get to rough. Future legends in the making, every player grinds. A Stay Hot podcast where the stars align.